Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Parkinson's Gym. I, of course, am Zach, and this, of course, is Gus. Gussie! Good job. Today, we're going to talk about abs. You hear an awful lot about abs, core strength, column strength. People give them internal structure. There's an awful lot of fancy words that are made up almost daily to make people sound smarter about your center. All the muscles that are part of the middle, everything that ain't arms and legs and head, okay, is considered your core. Now you think about this is the middle, obviously, middle of your body. It has to be strong. If this part of your body is not strong, thank you, Gus. I do love you, but not right now, okay? Oh, I love you all the time. I know, I didn't mean that. Don't take that. Okay, center of your body. If this isn't strong, it's like trying to push off of a surface that is not hard, is not firm. So it'd be like trying to get a good push off of the bench here. You're going to shove, the bench is going to fall over because it's weak. But if you get a good shove off of this, it's strong, it's heavy, you get a better power. It's like having a good solid foundation. Your foundation of your house is weak and mushy, your house is going to have issues. So that's just what we're talking about here. Okay, there are five muscle groups that make up your core. You have the rectus abdominis, which is right down the center. And that's what people consider your six-pack. It has these strange little perforations in it along the side, and there's a center line, linea alba, right down the middle that makes up that. But there's a lot more to it than that. You have external abs that go essentially from your ribs and down, and your internal abs, which go I'm having a look and make sure I keep this straight. From your hips up to your ribs. So they're running this way, internal run this way. And then you have rectus, transverse, deep underneath all of those, and they're running this direction. So you've got up, down, across, and down the front. All right, there's a couple more to need to consider. Three more, actually. Your rectus femoris is the muscle that connects from your hip to just below your knee, that little bony part below your knee. And it's part of your quadriceps that raises your leg. So that, I consider that part of your core. That's debatable, but that's used in a lot of core exercises, and that has to be strong also. So you'll see that in a lot of leg raises and any of those. So you've got the front, then you've got the back, because they all have to be there. Okay, everything's got to be balanced. You really only have two muscle groups, but they're fairly complicated muscle groups. There's quadratus lumborum, which is hips to spine and maybe rib, and then the erector spinae, which is a set of six muscles running essentially the base of your skull down to your hips, and they're right straight up and down the back. There's a lot more to that, and there's people called doctors who can tell you all about that stuff. But that is the simple version. Down your back you have the erector spinae and the quadratus lumborum supporting your back. Okay, what does all this stuff do? Funny you should ask. Number one, creates a structure for your body. Okay? Your spine, your skeleton is there, but that's just kind of the framework. You've got to have more structure around the skeleton. That ain't enough. It's got to hold it up. So the stronger your core is, the stronger your entire body is. You think about it like a building. If they have a good, strong center column, everything else branching off of that will be structurally sound. Same deal. It's a good, strong center core column. Everything else is going to have a good, sound place to go. Movement, of course, moving around. You do move your core up and down, back and forth. And breathing. There's a little bit involved. Your core isn't primarily breathing. Your diaphragm is primarily for breathing, but your core muscles do help. Of course, when you get tired, you notice you're a lot going on there. So that's one of their things. So you've got four things that primarily your core is responsible for. Creating an inner abdominal pressure for, that. Support, movement, and breathing. Got that? All right. So how do you work the core? How do you exercise the core effectively? Well, here's my philosophy, that there are five versions of core exercises. And let me go through what those are, and we'll talk a little bit about each one of them. First is, as we've kind of already addressed, leg raise type exercises. So it could be argued that essentially you're using your legs to exercise your core. So this is anything where your legs, like flutter kicks or leg raises or toe touches, your leg is being moved to keep your core static and stable and strong. And I'm shaking, this is crazy. Okay, so leg type raises. I always include those in a core workout. Static planks. Every single one of your core muscles is being activated when you are hanging out in a plank or hanging out in a side plank. Now granted, your internal and external on this side are being activated more, but everybody else is having to play along too when you're doing this. All right? These, by the way, internal, external, are called your obliques. There is no muscle going up and down the side. When you see guys doing this, picking up a weight, doing that, they're working, this side is squeezing and relaxing, and squeezing and relaxing to do that. It's the same thing, okay? Rotational. Chops, Russian twist, anything with a good rotation. You're making those internal and external oblique abdominal muscles work back and forth, differentiating your ribs from your hips to get that motion, which is huge in a lot of sports. Batting, golf, really damn near anything making your body move. There are very, very, very few sports where you don't move your body. Yeah, there's none. Okay, a crunch. Okay, the crunch motion. This is what most people think of when they think of core exercise, is that flexion and extension of the abdominal muscles. This is a contentious thing, especially for older clients, older people. Don't have to be clients, you can be anybody. Is that good? Is that flexion and extension good for your spine? I think it depends on the person. Some people, doesn't matter. They love that stuff. Other people, yeah, that's not so good. They already have concerns, I do, concerns with your back. So that flexion and extension is putting, not only are you building up pressure in your abs, in your torso, you're putting some pressure on those spine, which may already be damaged, and this may exacerbate the problem, make it worse, okay? So I think you can get the exact same work of the same muscles with static exercises. Planks, all those things where another part of your body is moving, but your abs are not. Really anything, even curls, your abs should be engaged so that your hands and arms can move. Okay? Yeah. Finally, so you've got leg raises, you've got static, you've got rotational, moving, and you have crunching, flexion, extension. Finally, you have the rear portion. They call it the posterior chain. From the base of your skull to your heels is a long series of chain of muscles. So quads, hamstrings, back muscles, the quadratus lumborum, the rectus spinae, all the way up to your base of your skull, holding everything there tight and strong. What you're looking at there is stuff to strengthen that. Exercises like the good morning exercise where you're standing up, or bird dog, really plank, because every time one muscle flexes, contracts, the muscle on the other side has to balance that. Otherwise you just, everything you whack and you couldn't straighten out your arm. So there has to be a counter muscle to every muscle. So a lot of these, really all the core exercises, when you move, all of the muscles are being activated, but there's a primary one doing most of the work. All right? So, the 5 type of exercises you should include in any core workout: leg type raises to get that femoris, that right down the center, rectus femoris going. Static exercises, I think you should always do. Rotational exercises, as long as you're staying straight up and down. Your spine is straight up and down, and you're just twisting about that spine. You're doing this, okay? You're not going, okay? Rotational, Russian twist type things, nice and easy and controlled. And then crunches, and that depends on the individual. The flexion extension, okay? Consider it. And then something for the back half of your body, the back part of your core. So like I talked about, bird dog and those type of exercises. So that is my take on core, column, central strength of your body. It is very important for posture, for anti-gravity work, which is living on Earth. So if you expect to live on Earth, that is important. It's a big deal for everybody. So take that, put it in your toolkit, and use it as you need. All right? Good stuff. Stick around. We've always got more coming from the Parkinson's Gym. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you later.